Tennessee state standard is to verify experimentally the properties of rotations, reflections, and translations. Lines are taken to lines and line segments to line segments of the same length. Angles are taken to angles of the same measure, and parallel lines are taken to parallel lines. Today we are focusing on reflections. So if you would, no, you can't circle that on your notes, so never mind. Another state standard we are working on today is to describe the effect of dilations, translations, rotations, and reflections on two-dimensional figures using coordinates. Your lesson objective that you need to write down: I can, 1, graph the image of a figure after a reflection across the x-axis and across the y-axis, and describe a reflection. So you'll need to pause the video and write that down. All right, so reflections in a nutshell, we'll watch that in class on Monday. A reflection is a transformation that flips a figure across a line. The line is called the line of reflection. All right, so we're going to let the y-axis be the line of reflection. And just like with translations, we're working with each point. We're going to reflect each point across the y-axis by counting to the y-axis, then counting that much further past the y-axis. So change my pen and my pen color. We'll start with point A. Remember, the y-axis is the one that goes up and down like a yo-yo. So we start at point A and we count to the axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then we need to count 4 more past the axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that becomes our A prime. And we go back to B and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we go that much further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is B prime. And then C, we go 1 to the axis and 1 past the axis. That is C prime. And then we draw our figure. I don't draw very well. So our figure is same size, same shape, but it has a different location and a different orientation. And so when a pre-image in the third quadrant is reflected across the y-axis, in what quadrant will the image be? You should be able to answer that on your notes. All right, now we're going to let the x-axis be the line of reflection. So we're going to reflect each point across the x-axis by counting to the x-axis, then counting that much further past the x-axis. So we'll start with A. We have to count 1, 2 to get to the x-axis. So we count 1, 2 past, and that is A prime. Then we go to B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 past the x-axis. That's B prime. And then C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the x-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 past the y-axis. And connect our points. Same size, same shape, different location, different orientation. So when a pre-image in the third quadrant is reflected across the x-axis, in what quadrant will the image be? You should be able to answer that now. All right, so let's let the y-axis be the line of reflection. We're going to reflect each point across the y-axis by counting to the y-axis, then counting that much further past the y-axis. Now, as you can see, triangle ABC is crossing, it's laying across the y-axis, but we still do it the same way. So we'll start with A. We count 1 to the y-axis and 1 past for A prime. For B, we count 1, 2, 3, 4 to the y-axis and 1, 2, 3, 4 past the y-axis, B prime. C, we have to go the opposite direction, 1, 2 to get to the y-axis, 1, 2 past the y-axis. So there is C prime, and you connect your points. All right, now we're going to let the x-axis be the line of reflection, and we're going to reflect each point across the x-axis. So, A, 1 to the x-axis, 1 past the x-axis, so that's A prime. B, 1, 2, 3 to the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 past the x-axis is B prime. And C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the x-axis, 2, 3, 4, 5 past the x-axis. All right, now on this same graph, I am going to draw a different triangle, so you will need to do that as well. Let's draw it red. What happens if our triangle looks like this? And this is A, B, C. And we want to reflect it across the x-axis. Well, since A is already on the x-axis, that is our new A prime. Then B would go 1, 2, 3 to the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 past the x-axis for B prime, and C would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just in case you see that on your practice assignment, and I don't connect dots very well, you also have to have that on your notes. All right, now we want to describe the reflection. Now these are fairly easy because you can see the line of reflection is, since both of them are the same distance away from the x-axis, this is a reflection across the x-axis. Now, this year we will only be looking at reflections across the x-axis and the y-axis, but in the future you will look at reflections across other lines like y equals 1 or x equals y. All right, this one is a reflection across the y-axis. And the last one, this one's a little bit harder to tell. So here's a point and here's a corresponding point. Now, which axis, X or Y, are those mirror images? And it would be the x-axis. So it's a reflection across the x-axis. Hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.